Welcome to Blue Tinted Glasses, the home of Leicester City talk on YouTube. Fan debates, live watch-alongs, post-match reactions, and all the Foxes banter you could ask for. Subscribe now and see the game through Blue Tinted Glasses.
Just into race clear. He's got Jamie Vardy with him. Jamie Vardy sets off. Jamie Vardy! Ball back here for Tarwood. Oh, he scored! An absolute belter! That is trademark Abdul for Tarwood.
This one into the box. Nugent over the top. Oh, what a goal! David Nugent's just scored a beauty. He's made Forest look like fools.
Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Good morning and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. It is Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m, which means it's time for Good Morning Foxes. And yeah, we've got a great panel as always on a Sunday morning. I'm going to go around and say hello to them all. Everybody in the chat, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to hit subscribe. But more importantly, get your comments in and let us know what you made to the game on Friday. Kate, good morning. What's going on with you? How are you?
Morning, mate. Yeah, I'm good. Over Friday night's disappointment a little bit because I was watching the Ryder Cup yesterday, so I'm feeling quite buoyant this morning. So yeah, all good. I see that you aren't going on holiday, but you're in fact joining the Marines, which is encouraging to hear.
Oh, thanks for that. Appreciate it. I've just filmed a match preview with Luke, and literally 5 seconds before we hit record, he started giving me shit about the haircut. So yeah. Steve, what's going on with you, mate? How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's pissing it down today, and I've got a long drive up to Harrogate after this, so that'll be fun. But looking forward to it at least.
Yeah, that's not what I would want to be doing with my Sunday, mate. That's for sure. So good luck to you. Graham's with us. Graham has got the hat back. So
I thought it had been a while, mate. So yeah.
How are you, mate?
All I can say to you is "Rah, Marine." So yeah, I'm taking it off because I had a sudden look at it and thought, shit, I look like George Galloway. So for those extreme idiot politician, for those who don't know. Yep, all good. Flying off into the sandpit tomorrow. So yeah, looking forward to stuffing the Yanks. Yeah. So
yeah. There we go. Morning to Kunal. Hope you're well, mate. Morning to Neil as well. Hope you're doing well. Right, let's start then. Kate, I'm going to come to you first. I know that you were at the game, of course, on Friday night, as was Steve as well. But I'll come to you first, Kate. What did you make to it? Away at the Hawthorns? We spoke about it, earlier in the week, and we said, it's not going to be the same going to the Hawthorns without Jamie Vardy. And it took us a while to score a goal. But yeah, what did you think?
Overall, it was really disappointing, wasn't it? I don't feel like we got enough going in the final third. First 15, 20 minutes before they scored, I thought we started really brightly. We were playing some one-touch stuff, and it felt quite energised and quite front-footed. And then we shot ourselves in the foot, didn't we? The only attack they had in that moment, and they go on and score, which was just absolutely outrageous. It just was not good enough to concede that kind of goal. Just someone hack him down. I mean, is this just a demonstration of where Leicester are just too nice? Just take him out. Absolutely take him out. So yeah, there was a lot of huffing and puffing and not a lot of quality in the final third. But we got there in the end. We got the late drama at the Hawthorns. It just wasn't the winner.
Yeah, there was drama, that's for sure, from an unlikely source, although it was an own goal. But yeah, Steve, I know obviously you were at the game as well, mate. Talk to me. How did you find it?
Yeah, like I said, it was frustrating. To be honest, the first 20 minutes we were pretty good, but I keep sort of banging my head against the wall that we don't have a focal point up front. And if you can have the ball as much as you want and give it to the wingers, but unless you have somebody in the box that can finish, we're not going to get anywhere. And yeah, look, the curse continues. I haven't seen us win away from home since October last year, so that's fun. Swansea next week for me as well, so that'll be a full year at this point. So maybe I'm the curse. Maybe I should stop going.
I agree. Stop cursing us.
Yeah. If are you going to Swansea?
Yeah.
Oh, we're fucked then. We're fucked.
Yeah, 4.5 hour drive there, 4.5 hour drive back just to see us lose. So everyone buckle up.
But you do, if you're wise on the way back, you do get to go to that really nice Gloucester services. If you've never been, you need to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I used to stop there a lot because when I lived in Wales, obviously we used to travel up to Leicestershire quite a lot, so we'd always stop there. So yeah, very nice, very nice. I will
say that we scored because I went down to the concourse and then we scored. So I'm taking that as definitely it's a curse.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a curse, mate. Absolutely. Kit, morning to you. Yeah, we're going to talk. Tony, I'll start your comment. We'll talk about it soon. Graham, did you watch the game, mate? It's an ungodly hour for you, isn't it? That kickoff time.
Well, before we get into that, what the fuck's wrong with you guys this morning? Do I need to go and have to take some happy pills or something? It's like, hello. Look, when you watch a football match, in my part of the world at the moment, I would love to be standing in. No, I wouldn't love to be standing at West Brom watching. But seriously, I did watch the game, and the 3 words cover it. Not good enough, and we're 5-6 games into it. We've got to find a way of scoring goals without having a 6'4" handsome Spaniard who wants the flamenco dance, and the only people that are calling Cordova Reed's goal and own goals are those that hate him, locks.
Well, it was an own goal. It went down as an own goal. It's registered.
So what? So what? It was heading in the direction of the goal. The bloke deflected it one way. I still think it was going in the. I mean, we can't measure it, but I mean, who cares? He got to the right point. He got in the right place to play it. He volleyed it. I mean, we all go on about Winks. He was putting his volleys over the bar. So give the bloke a chance. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I think Graham's on one today because I actually started my morning by sending him a clown emoji, which was very enjoyable. I felt a great bit of pleasure from that.
And it was received with love and gratitude.
Great. Morning all, says Keith. No offense, I would rather play Chowdhury over Samari, and Chowdhury is barely a footballer. He is from Bangladesh. You are, aren't you? So I'm not surprised. You'd rather. Yeah, all right, Slim Shady. I mean, I wish I was Slim Shady. That's for sure. Richard says Marty needs to decide which players he is to pick, the so-called better ones, or the players that will be here next season. Well, Kate, let's start with this. So, I feel, Kate, that we actually did do this at the very start of the season. There was no Winks, there was no Fass. El Canoes after the first game was left out. We had Ben Nelson, we had Caleb Okoli. The problem, Kate, is that we just weren't very good. Like, we were better when we had Winks, and this is the debate that we've had all season. I think every Sunday we've spoken about this in some way, shape, or form. We are better when Harry Winks is in the team, whose contract runs out in a year. We're better when Wout Faes, let's say, right? He defended better, I think, other than the goal. But in the times that he has played the season, he's been better than Okoli. He's been better than Ben Nelson. So it's tough, isn't it, Kate? Like you need to find the balance between picking a team that want to be here and actually picking a team that are going to win games. And I feel like I do think Nelson deserves another chance. Of course he does. But Skip, for example, who is going to be here next season. You have a massive drop in quality when you play him over Harry Winks.
Yeah, I agree. It's an ongoing conundrum that any manager has, really. But I don't think you should be selecting players on the time left on their contract at all. That's not. Otherwise, what's the point in contracts? So Marty dealt with the Fass and Winks situation as best as he could and wanted them to wipe the slate clean before they get their head back in the game. The mistake that Marty's made, and he won't know because he doesn't know Fass like perhaps we do, is that Fass often doesn't have his head in the game. And that kind of demonstrated itself with the goal. Like, he just threw himself in, absolute car crash moment, heads gone moment. and he throws himself in because he's lost concentration and wants to just do these hero moves that ends up looking like an absolute plonker. That deserved a clown emoji. So, you know, we can't pick players based on contract length at all. And Winks definitely deserves to play. Ricardo, you could say, should be left out then. Ricardo's in his last year. Like, I don't know what, you can't go on contract length at all. But what I would say is that he has to understand with Fass in particular. I don't think Fass has got 90 minutes of concentration in him. Fass has been a really good sub. Come on and added the extra that we've needed in that moment. I'm not saying Okoli's the one, and I'm not saying Nelson's the one, but it may be that in that particular position, Fass shouldn't be a shoe-in now. Winks is different because Winks does bring that quality, and he doesn't make those errors that Fass makes, and he does just make things tick. But with Fass, it's a different story for me. But yeah, contract length is kind of irrelevant, really. It's whether you're good enough, you want to play, your head's in the right space, and you're going to play the way that Marty wants to play.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, let me come to you. And Neil says here, Wout Pele is just a walking ego and will never change. I think, you know, one thing I'll say about him, Steve, is I think, you know, when he's come on in a handful of games this season as a substitute, I mean, I think back to Sheffield Wednesday, he came on, he defended well, and he scored. He came on off the bench a couple of other times as well and did very well, I would say, defensively. He was brought on once or twice, I think, to see out a game and did well. You know, and Marty's started him, obviously, and is that 2 games now, I think? Was it Coventry and West Brom? He started fast. But Kate's right, isn't he, Steve? That I just called Kate a he. Sorry, your pronouns. Kate's right, isn't she? That Wout Faes, you know, when he's coming on as a substitute, yeah, maybe he's got 20 minutes, 15 minutes of concentration, but over a 90-minute game, he just doesn't have that in him, it seems. And it was the Wout Faes that we've seen last year and 2 years ago, right? What we saw on Friday night.
Yeah, his concentration is a real problem, and that's something that Marty will now see in firsthand. You know, you can play him for, as Kate said, you can play him for 10, 15 minutes, and he puts in a decent performance, but you know, over 90 minutes, he does tend to wander a little bit. The only positive out of sort of Wout Faes himself is that he's the only defender that we have that can progress the ball from centre back. You know, Vestergaard, whilst he tries, he's so slow that, you know, even a snail will catch up to him. So, you know, you need that. I don't think a Cody could do that job where, excuse me, where you get the ball at centre back and it's only in front of you. You can move forward 15 yards and you can pass it to midfield from there. And a Cody can't do that. And I would say Ben Nelson's very much like Yannick Vestergaard in they're very similar sort of models as footballers. So you're going to play one over the other, and then Okoli and Fass. But yeah, like the issue with Wout Fass is that, you know, that dive in when he could have just stood his ground on Friday night was a bit silly. You know, we had covering defenders behind him. There's Samari tracking back, and Luke Thomas was there as well. He wouldn't have got the shot away if he didn't dive in, you know, fully like he did. You know, and then criticise Vestergaard for going up to midfield and trying to put a tackle in there as well. I guess left us on the back foot, but overall it was just a poor defensive display of, you know, entirely from the back two. You know, Ricardo and Thomas a little bit different because they're trying to do different roles. So you look at the centre back pairing, and whilst I think they're good enough to get us promoted, you need to make sure they're concentrating, and it just seems like they're struggling.
Yeah, I mean, Graham, let me come to you next because the defenders that Leicester have got at their disposal are, you know, they're not the Van Dijks of the world, and you know, I think quite often you have to kind of pick between defending and what you can do on the ball, and I'll include Vestergaard in that, who I do like, but you know, with his passes, I think, you know, breaking the lines, his passes through into the midfield, I think are excellent. I think he was off the boil a little bit with his diagonal balls, which are usually pretty good. I think they weren't really up to scratch on Friday night, but both of them, Graham, Fass and Vestergaard, I think on the ball with regards to either passing or just carrying it, they are good at this level. Defensively, though, Graham, and decision-making and concentration and stuff like that, they let us down a lot, don't they? And I think, you know, on the other hand, you've got Caleb Okoli, who I think defensively I think he's better. I think he's defensively, one-on-one, I think he's pretty good. But on the ball, he's shocking, in my opinion, Caleb Okoli. So What should Marty do here, Graham? Does he go for the progressive, passing options like Vestergaard and Fast, or does he just go for the defenders that are going to be better one-on-one defending?
Well, let me go back and analyse the goal. I'm going to be a little bit. Somebody's got to be on Faz's side a bit on this one, so I'm going to have a go. Don't be too harsh on me. I was watching, obviously, from a TV angle, not that. And when that bloke broke through, he had one thing on his mind: he was going to score. He was balanced on both feet. He looked really confident. As a goalkeeper, you look up and you see a bloke like that, and you're going, "Oh shit, I'm going to have to just kill him." And you would have just come off your line and keep going until you take him out. The one thing that Faz did right is he slowed him down. We go, he's backtracking. No, he's giving the three other defenders time to get into that place. Where he got it wrong was his decision should have been to get sent off. But then we still had three defenders in a pile-up, and that bloke still managed to get the ball away into the back of the net. And honestly, if defenders don't make mistakes, there is no goals in any football match. So let's just put that one to aside, whether anybody agrees or not. Secondly, he offers something. Again, he had a good game. Apart from that, he had another one where he dived in, but luckily that was on the byline. But the girl brigade and the tippy tappy brigade might not have noticed that he was actually quite good at floating a ball in over the top to the wingers. He had a couple of really good passes that he did that. So going back to your question of what you do with your defenders is you need somebody to get the ball to them. And if you've got a centre half like Vestergaard who can hold the ball up and put the ball out wide, you've got Faz, you're giving the attacking team more, or the opposition more to think about where the ball's coming. The difference is that we're not good enough yet, as I said at the beginning, and our decision making in the last third is not up to where we needed it to be. But as a defender, if I was always getting some stick for letting a goal in, and going, well, to attackers, well, if you put the ball in the bloody net, I wouldn't have to worry so much, would I?
Yeah. Well, kind of backing up what Graham's saying there, Kate, there's a comment here from Greek Fox in the box who says the biggest problem at the minute isn't our defence, it's our attack. I mean, there's nothing too wrong with conceding one goal in a game, Kate. I mean, I think defensively we've been fairly good over the last few games. A couple of bozo moments, of course, but that's always going to happen when you've got Vestergaard and Fass at the back. But Kate, our problems up the other end of the pitch, they seem to still be there. It hasn't been figured out just yet. A lot of stick goes towards Jordan Ayew. Stefan Mavididi, of course, as well. What did you make to the attacking areas on Friday night? Because it took us 92 minutes or whatever to score a goal. How did you, what did you make to all of that?
Yeah, it's the same every game, really. There's not enough activity actually inside the box that you can get within shooting range to take the shot. A lot of the shots that we saw were from outside the box, and the shooting outside the box was absolutely terrible on Friday. Even Ricky P was blazing it, Winks was blazing it. There was just a real lack of quality and a real lack of ideas when it came to the top part of the pitch. I don't like the unnecessary stick that Jordan gets. I understand the frustration, and he can be so frustrating. But similarly, he's pulled out some really good performances for us and created some goals. So he doesn't stand out to me as one of the poorest. He's just one of many that are left wanting in that end of the pitch. So I didn't think Fatawu was that great. I didn't think Mavididi was that great. Although I think Mavididi did try and push on a bit. He always gets himself involved, and I think his work rate is definitely picking up. And then when Carranza came on, he did try to make a nuisance of himself, and the referee booked him fairly early on, and that was kind of the end of him being physical, which was a shame. So look, I think Marty's plan was to obviously include Ramsey, and that's massively been scuppered because he's got another game to go yet before he's back next Saturday. So it's just a massive work in progress, but it was never going to be easy. I think that was the worry, that although we've brought Carranza in, Marty did say that he needs time, and we've got to give him that. You know, he's only had about 70 minutes in total that he's been on the pitch, so we need to give him time, and he's a big guy. He can put himself about a bit, and he did create a bit of havoc in the box, but we're just not getting in the areas enough to even test the keeper. That's the worry for me. We're not testing any keepers really. I don't know why we're not drilling low balls into the area. The free kicks were dreadful. The corners are dreadful. So any threatening balls coming into the box are always a 1 or 2 out of 10. And when you shit at those kind of things, just try something different, like a low drill into the box, which I think Monga likes to do. You don't know where that's going to end up. That can ricochet, bounce off somebody. You know, anything can happen, and that also puts the keeper into disarray a bit as well. Those low ball areas. So we need to pepper keepers a bit more, and that's why we've just not been able to score. You know, it was nearly 180 minutes without a goal, really, wasn't it? And it still probably is if we not counting an own goal. So, much work needed, but I think Ramsey hopefully will be the key to that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Steve, when, you know, we were joking last week, we joked a few times about this, but when Carranza came on Friday night, Luke on the watch along did say, "Yep, I've just hit 10% gay." That's what Luke said. But he came on, mate, and yeah, I mean, there's he didn't really offer anything. Let's be honest, which was a little bit, you know, disappointing. But you know how he's still getting up to speed, I think. And what's your thoughts currently, Steve, on the striker situation? Because there is a comment here which says, and I think I agree with it. LLLL said, "Our attack is good enough for a championship. You can't get better wingers than Fatawu and Mavididi in this division." And I think I would agree with that. And we saw what they did 2 years ago, right? In this division. So do you think the problem is Jordan Ayew? Do you think that is what the problem is? Or do you think it's a Marty issue that how we're drilled, how we're set up is causing a lack of goals?
I don't think it's an Ayew issue. I agree again with Kate. I keep agreeing with Kate. So Ayew,
always a wise thing to do.
Whilst he's a physical threat in that sort of build-up play, he's just not a striker. And there's Marty's the one that's put him in the position to be a striker. But then he is playing a role because we haven't got, Carranza is getting up to speed and Daka just isn't on it at all. So until we get a striker up to speed, I don't think we'll see Ayew drop down into that sort of cam position. And I can see he's changing at Swansea, bringing Ramsey back in and Ayew staying up top. But it is a damning indictment of the attacking outlet of the team when we've only had one shot on target on Friday night, with 13 shots in total, an XG of less than 1. And I don't know if you noticed, Kate, but whenever we got the ball in the attacking third and then they got the ball back, Marty was losing his goddamn mind on that touchline. He was going crazy. And there was a bit in the second half where we had a corner and Ayew sort of plodded along to it and Abdul was going to take it. And Marty was screaming at Ayew to get, to hurry up. It's a situation where I think Carranza will start as our main striker at some point, and we'll see Ayew either drop into the 10 or maybe drop out of the team entirely because you need a striker that can score goals. But yeah, I wouldn't blame Ayew entirely. It's definitely the tactics because our wingers look very sort of isolated in this formation and the way we're playing at the moment. So yeah, and Mavididi, I think he did all right on Friday. There was one moment where he took it past 3 or 4 players, wasn't there? And then he got fouled in the first half, and I actually think he was okay. But okay is great if you're a 6 out of 10, but our wingers need to be sort of 8 or 9 out of 10 every week for us to score goals, and it's just not happening.
Well, Graham, I mean, talking of the strikers, the club, the PR team, the marketing team, whatever, the web team at the club know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to increase the demographic of women who show up to the King Power Stadium. So they released this. Well, yeah, and yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Of course. It's 2025. No, I'm gonna bring this up, right? So this is a video that they released yesterday. a little interview after the game. So let's just hear what Carranza had to say after the game. Hopefully you can hear this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things that we need to improve. We played a good first half. Second half we were taking risk a little bit, and then we conceded some chances. But yeah, there's a lot of things that we need to improve towards the next game, and we'll sure do it in these couple of days. Yeah, I mean.
There you go, nice and sweet from the Argentine.
Is that the haircut you asked for, Locks?
Yeah, I went in and showed the photo, and they gave me this. Fucking hell, money back. Yeah. So yeah, Graham, where's your head at the minute regarding the striker situation? Because we have 3 strikers, well 2.5. Well, actually no, I think we've got 1.5 strikers to be honest. But yeah, we've got Daka, Carranza, and Ayew. Daka is Daka. Ayew we've seen quite a bit of this season. Carranza we've seen a little bit of. I mean, what do you think Marty should be doing from this point on to try and get more goals in the team?
Make sure the opposition don't score and play one less player. We do play football against another team, and once the Albion, boing had scored, you do realise that they knew that our strength was 2 wingers. So no wonder we weren't getting any balls in the box, and no wonder we weren't. They were snuffing it out. Whereas Ayew, where I think Ayew is, if you changed his body shape, colour and everything else, and saw that player playing on Friday night was Vardy, he had a really good Vardy performance, except for he wasn't hanging off the shoulder, and Vardy would miss shots like that. So I think it's a little harsh to say, yes, he's not a striker. He's not a 20-year-old, 20 goals a year striker. He's a marketing speak. He's a facilitator. Yeah, and the biggest danger we've got is that it could take Lord Farquhar 6 months to get his shit together to be a decent striker. So we have to find other ways of scoring goals away from home against the team who's just scored. It was always going to be difficult for us to score. The Wonderkin, he had his moments. He showed his age. He was sent to do extra homework, I'm sure, this weekend. So it's again, we're not good enough. It's where we are at the moment. We're good enough to be a team in the top 6. 6 weeks in, after some people were talking about we could get a double relegation, I don't think we're doing that badly.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying.
And Locks does not believe a word I've just said.
No.
There was a big sign.
Well, Kate, look, of course we'd all want to be in the top 2. That's undeniable. But Kate, I'm not too concerned just yet. Okay, I think if we've got Wrexham and Swansea right up next. Wrexham at home, Swansea away. I mean,
the Welsh boys.
Kate,
the Welsh week
yes.
up. You're going to be wearing a dragon t-shirt or something.
Well, I'm not here for either, am I? I'm not here for either of the games.
Well, I hope they play as well as their rugby team does.
Yeah. But no, Kate, I mean, I think, those 2 games in particular, because, look, the players were booed off the pitch in the first half against Sheffield Wednesday, first game of the season. And I was just like...
Some people booed you on Friday, to be fair.
They did.
Yeah. But what I will say is, Kate, the longer we go on, the more games we play, and there's, a lack of goals, maybe a bit of just not really too of an impressive performance. It's just gonna grow. Like, there are gonna be sections of the fan base that start to get a little bit toxic, if let's call it that. I don't think there's too much to be concerned about yet. But where are you, Kate, on the concerned scale? 1 to 10. How concerned are you with some of the performances, the lack of goals, etc.?
I don't go into the area of concern at all. I think there's massive improvements to be made. Friday was definitely not good enough. Last weekend if Mavadidi had buried one of those chances, Friday's result may have felt different. But it's all about perspective. So West Brom are a very seasoned now Championship team with some really good players, and they're loving their new era under Mason, and they did a bit of a job on us. They double up on our wingers, and we need to find a way around that. And that's happened a few times this season. And you know, when you think about our transfer window was okay. It was successful in some parts, successful in others, but unsuccessful in parts such as getting a seasoned striker in that's used to the British League or whatever. So I don't go into the concerned area. I go into it. I'm pretty much seeing what I expected. Like when Marty says a rebuild, what does a rebuild look like? And a rebuild, normally, I put this definition on Twitter yesterday. It's when something's been damaged or destroyed and you have to build again. And I think people forget that. This isn't building on stuff that was good last season, because there was nothing good about last season. This is almost starting from 0 or maybe 1 on the building of a new team. And I think we've just got to flex a bit with that. Like, we drew away from home against a promotion rival on Friday night, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think West Brom will come away really disappointed because they thought the game was there for the taking. They missed an absolute sitter in front of goal to go 2 up. So I think we just have to remember perspective. And I think this is sometimes why the word entitled gets thrown around, because it seems to me that people don't like it because we didn't win. And what about that team and about this moment with Leicester City makes you think that we are entitled to go in to win? We've got to work for it. And a rebuild is exactly that. We're not building on what was Enzo's team. We're way lower than that. And people just need to have patience. And we're in such a cancel culture world, particularly with managers. Like, look at the new West Ham manager. It's his 4th Premier League team. We're in this merry-go-round that people are addicted to. And just try and go with the process, but the process needs patience. And that's where I'm at. I didn't like what I saw on Friday. I was so frustrated. But you've just got to get your expectations measured. That's all.
Well, Steve, this is exactly where I kind of I feel for Marty, because, you know, some people are saying that he's not trusting in the youth as much as he should.
We all know who that is.
I like Rick, and you know, and he's mentioned it obviously a few times now. Look, this is where I feel for him, Steve, because Monga, I think, is being used just about in the right way for now. For now, I think he should get more game time as the season goes on. But I think he's been, and I think Marty, you know, we always talk about Marty's man management. I think he's trying to get Mavadidi through this tough period. I think that's quite clear what he's trying to do. I think Rude, or no, maybe not Rude, but another manager would have probably dropped him by now. Louis Page was playing. You know, he played 2 games before the international break, I think it was, and then I think he had a knock on international duty, and then, you know, I think he's fit now, but he wasn't in the squad. Ben Nelson, Steve, had a awful performance in the cup, right? And I'm not saying he shouldn't get another chance. I think he should, but again, that's why he's not playing. Caleb Okoli, again, he's not an academy product, but he's younger than the others, and you know, people would maybe want to see him given a chance over Whiteface. But again, I think the 3 games or 2 or 3 games prior to him being dropped, I think he was pretty poor in them. So the reason I feel for Marty, Steve, is because he could play Lewis Page, Jeremy Monga, Caleb Okoli, Ben Nelson, right? He could play them in the next game. But I think our chances of winning that game are incredibly reduced by doing that. I think you if you want to talk about a rebuild and players that want to be here, again, I'll say it again, Oliver Skipp. Do you play Oliver Skipp over Harry Winks, knowing that Oliver Skipp is not going to he's not going to bring as much to the team as Harry Winks? So I think he is in this weird place, Steve, where he has to pick between picking a team that's going to win the game or picking a team that is going to please the fans because they're players that want to be here.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you look at the starting 11 on Friday night, and 10 of those 11 started games last season. So I think that's where some of the frustration from the fan base is coming from, because you do have this sort of golden generation, quote in quotes, that's coming through, and ideally you'd like to play them. But you are right as well, is that, you know, would you drop Vestergaard for Ben Nelson when they're very similar players? No, because I don't think Vestergaard's done anything wrong, really. Would you drop Wout Fast now for a Coley after the last 3 games that he had when he's been quite poor and giving the ball away? I wouldn't personally. I think you are more likely to get promoted with those 2 in defence than you would do with a Coley and Nelson, which is unfortunate because I like Ben Nelson. I think he's a good prospect and somebody that we should be playing more often, even if he comes on for 10, 15 minutes, or because he needs game time. Monga is right. Yeah, if you drop Mavididi on Friday, I don't think he comes back from that. I think that's his confidence just gone entirely, and we won't see him again for a while. And then, Page, I think he will feature more often. I think when Ramsey's back and we potentially drop James back into that Samaro role, you will see Louis Page on the bench a bit more often with Ramsey coming on and starting, because they're sort of like for like, but Louis Page isn't really a 10, but he's still young, so he can learn that position. And like in regards to if you convert one of the Oxford or Coventry games into a win and we drew on Friday, everyone's happy. It's just I think because 3 draws in a row, and my big issue is that if we get a points deduction, or if and when we get the points deduction, we go to bottom of the league, and that's a lot of points. I want points on the board. That's where my frustration comes in. I want as many points on the board before this deduction comes in, and then we can push on from there. But yeah, I would like to see some of the younger lads play more often, but Marty's in that rock and hard place where he wants to play a team that's going to win every week. But and he's not had any performances from these lads that, okay, Friday pretty much was terrible, but they've not really let him down. Winks has played really well. Vestergaard's played well. Fast has done okay since he's come in. He's not great, but he's done okay. So would you drop them for those younger lads? And I wouldn't really.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. From what we've seen, they definitely deserve to get another chance. Ben Nelson, especially, I think it's a little bit strange. As long as he's fit, I think it's strange that he's not even making the bench. I think that's a little.
Do you see changes on Tuesday night?
I don't know, man.
Because I think if we'd have won on Friday, I think we would have seen several changes on Tuesday.
I think there's got to be changes on Tuesday night, and I think he would have had that in his mind when he played on Friday.
Yeah. Well,
I don't
what
think
are your
Monga will
thoughts,
start.
Greg?
I know everyone wants Monga. Sorry, say again. Over.
No, I was going to say, Greg. What are what are your thoughts on what we've just discussed? Because like my problem, Graham, is let's say Marty appeases some of the fans and just plays more youngsters. If we then lose, it's going to be Marty that gets the blame. So it's like, as Steve said, it's like he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, isn't he? With that, surely he has to just pick the team that's going to win the game, especially when after 3 draws in a row, you need a win now.
Absolutely, and I think anybody booing the team at this point in stage, no matter what we played, I think it can just fuck off. I've had enough of this entitled generation.
Here we go.
No. I mean, it's like, yeah, right. I'm going to boo the team because we went to a cold, horrible West Brom and we got a point in the last minute. Oh, love it. Anyway, so you can do another one for me in a minute. So that's my rant over.
I'll be back in 1 sec. Keep going. I'll be back in 1 sec. I just need to open the door.
There's a clown at the door waiting for you, Graham.
Yeah. So I think the issue is that we have this academy, we have these players, and suddenly we think they're the answer to everything. There was a pick. Chelsea had the best academy in the country. And I think it was 7 years between John Terry being the last person that came out of it till they brought somebody in. So I think we have extremely high hopes for some players that won't necessarily make the grade yet. So he needs points on the board. He needs to balance. So I think there was in total 8 youngsters, if you include in the squad on Friday night. So it's not like he's ignoring them. But we'll play him. How many times do you hear a fan turn around and go, we've got to play this bloke. We play this bloke. He comes in, he's shite. So we'll have to, we then go back to plan B. Monga showed, apart from his skill, that he's a 15-and-a-half-year-old boy. He suddenly thought, well, I can dive around. Wrexham are going to be a very physical side on Tuesday night. Maybe he won't even get a start. Maybe they won't risk him. Maybe he needs, a school lesson, detention, homework. You can do all the skills you want. You're brilliant, son, but don't start diving because you get a rep and nobody's going to give you anything again. So I think there is a balance. I mean, it's always the question. We should start this when we start, and that's great because we can debate it, and it gives something to do on a Sunday morning. But this man, the manager, dies or survives based on his decisions. So I think there will be some changes. I don't think there's a player he wouldn't play if he didn't think they were the right player to play. I don't, he doesn't strike me as somebody that has is right. Has that in him.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, Kate, it's like a lot of people are saying Marty needs 2, 3, 4 transfer windows to do this rebuild that is spoken about, and that's not something I think that works with Leicester City fans. 3, 4 transfer windows, because a lot of Leicester fans, and I'm not pointing fingers, it's me as well. Like, sometimes we got those 3 players in on deadline day, and it's like, yes, we're fine, we're all good, we've got these 3 players, we're going to win the league, it's no problems, and it doesn't work like that. And not just incomings, outgoings, and we were limited in what we could do this summer window. We're probably going to be limited what we can do in January. Hopefully next summer, with the PSR stuff, every year dropping off, hopefully next summer, no matter what league we're in, we can really make some investment. I think that's probably the idea. I think the club probably saw that you've got 5, 6 players running out of contract or wanting to leave, and let's not spend much money this summer, because next summer when they go, we're going to have to replace them and bring in some hungry young talent. And I think that's probably the plan. But I think Marty just needs to get through until then, Kate. To be honest, I think we just need to kind of ride this wave until next summer. If we get promoted in the meantime, fucking great. If we don't, I think Marty's still going to be the manager next summer, and I think that's when the real rebuild happens next summer.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest, at the moment, if we get promoted as it stands today by some miracle, next season could look really miserable, and it's not enjoyable.
Very true.
There's a timing issue of it, and you don't want to go up too prematurely, because that's exactly what happened last time, and we just didn't have the quality because we couldn't spend. So if we don't get promoted this season, it's not necessarily the end of the world. But similarly, where we're sitting right now in the table, I'm happy to be out of the spotlight. I'm happy for people not to be talking about us being in first or second position and being the highest wage bill in the league, or whatever nonsense they're going to spout out this time. I'm happy sitting pretty in 4th, 5th or 6th until it starts to really matter, and just be out of the spotlight and out of the conversation, because we don't need it. We have enough bad stuff written and spoken about Leicester City. But also, like, from what I feel about Marty, and I still believe it, culturally Marty seems a really good fit for us. I think he has a really nice way of seeming to manage the players. He's not going to be bullied into anything. He's going to do it as fairly as he possibly can, but only if you're good enough. And we keep saying that Monga was good enough, so he's old enough, and it works in reverse as well. You're not good enough just because you're 16 and you're looking all right in the under 21s or whatever. The same with Louis Page or whoever. You've got to earn it, and Monga's obviously earned it. He's now a regular feature, but we've just got to be careful. Look, we had 4 starters under 25s in the team on Friday night. I think we finished with 6, and I don't think that's bad. And Mavadidi's 26 or 27, Samare's 26. You're not going to drop Ricardo. You're not going to drop Winks. You're not going to drop Vestergaard. You got to have the right balance. So if you want to put kids in there, then fair enough, but they'll get dicked on. Genuinely, they will all get dicked on if you put too many in. Because we saw with Louis, like, whilst Louis did really well when was it against Sheffield Wednesday that he played? I can't remember who he played against.
It was Birmingham. He played pretty well. Yeah.
He looked lightweight. He looked okay, but he looked lightweight. His touch wasn't quite good enough. And I know you're going to persevere, and he will get his chance, but you're not dropping him. You're not putting him in for anybody else at the moment. So you've got to be careful not to slag off Jordan because of his age and pace, but then want somebody in because of their age and pace. Like, there's a balance. You've got to earn it, and I'm not sure we're necessarily there yet. But look, I'm happy with things standing with Marty at the minute, because I think he feels the right kind of guy for us.
Yeah. Scarlett, just to say, didn't Sunderland go up with the youngest ever Championship squad? They went up with a very young squad, Scarlett, but these weren't players that had just broken through at 16 years old, 17 years old. Like you had 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds in that Sunderland team. It's not like 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds. I agree with pretty much all of you. I mean, it's kind of like, these are really exciting young players, and I do want to see. I get what Marty's doing with Mavididi. It's quite clear to see he's just persevering and seeing if because you know what Mavididi's like. He could score a brace in the next game, and suddenly he's on fire. And I just think Marty wants that to happen, and we all want that to happen. Nobody wants Mavididi to fail. Every Leicester fan wants him to. I know Steve, you've been making light humour of it, and people have been accusing you of wanting him to fail, and
which is not the case at all. Yeah.
No, because if Mavididi's scoring 17 goals and assists like he did 2 years ago, our chances of going up are massively improved. And but at the moment it's just not clicking for him for whatever reason. And Aaron Ramsey's back for the Swansea game, I believe. So he's got one more game, which is the Wrexham game that he's going to miss, and then he's back for Swansea next weekend. So
I think he goes straight back into the starting 11 as well in that game.
Well, if it continue, if there is still a lack of goals in the team, I think that's if we go and beat Wrexham 3-0, then I think maybe he might struggle. I think Marty then probably won't change this side. But what Kate said about physicality, Steve. I mean, Wrexham are a physical side. They are a physical side, and I don't fancy Leicester in physical battles. I haven't for years. I haven't fancied us in physical battles, so I do worry about Wrexham on Tuesday because of that.
Yeah, and annoyingly, they seem to suss out that when we sent agent Cody Banks over there, they've dropped him from the team now, so he's not going to be playing by the looks of it, which is annoying. And then agent Danny Ward as well, with him not being in the squad. They had a good result the weekend, didn't they?
They drew yesterday with Derby as well. Yeah,
and they won. Won the previous game as well. So yeah.
They got 7 points in 3 games. 7 points.
Yeah. So I think they're finding their feet in this division, and they are a physical side. And Josh Windass is a decent striker, somebody that I thought that we'd be in for, but went to Wrexham. Fair enough. And yeah, it is tough. We do seem a little bit lightweight against sort of more physical squads. And I don't think you change the defense to bring a Coley in, because even though he's quite a physical guy, I don't think he works up well against physical players either. It'll be an interesting game. I think it'll be an end-to-end game, really, because I think the lads will come out all ready to go after Friday. Getting that draw, because again, the last-minute goal, it felt like a defeat for most people, but actually, it will feel like a win for the players because they've scored in the last minute. So that will give them confidence. And I just want a full 90-minute performance. I'm not asking for an amazing game where we win 6 or 7-0. I'll take a scrappy 1-0 win as long as we're playing well for the 90 minutes. Just see some progress, and then off to Swansea. But I think there will be some changes. I think we actually might see Carranza start and IE drop back into that midfield, and maybe JJ drop into Samare role. But I hope. Look, again, last season we lost a lot. So I think the lads are just getting used to picking up points again and picking up wins. And that takes a long way to build that confidence up from last season. It will take a long way to get us off the floor. Physical game, but hopefully we turn up and put in a full 90-minute performance.
I mean, Graham, Steve said there about, scoring that late equaliser will feel like a win to the players. The mentality in the squad, I think this is something that has been spoken positively online by a lot of fans, even the ones that are usually negative, including myself. And Graham, I think, there has been a switch. I mean, how many times last season, and even I would say under Enzo Maresca, not every game that we went behind under Enzo, but some of the games, I feel like when Leicester have gone behind, they've kind of struggled to pick themselves back up. Whereas this season, I think it's been quite obvious that we've fought until the very end. We've come from behind many different times. And of course, you never want to be in the situation. Marty said it on Friday night, that you don't want to be in the situation where you're chasing a point or chasing a win. But it's very, very positive that the players are. And that, we're going until the 95th minute, whatever it is, 93rd minute, to chasing the game, and you score a goal. And it does feel like a win at the end of the day.
Well, a couple of points on that one. I must have been, by the time the game finished, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. And it did feel like a win to me to get that last minute equaliser. It was a very enjoyable moment to be able to go to sleep knowing that, we hadn't lost a game that we looked like we were destined to lose. It sends messages to other teams that, Foxes, the old Foxes never quit mentality. You've got to remember that came out when we were being really shit at the time. So it was a kind of like good PR point. But we are, the team will carry on going. Look at yesterday. I think the quality of players in this division means that a lot of teams cancel each other out. I mean, how many draws were there yesterday? Just virtually every game was a draw. So it's, now is the time you can start judging the team. We're five games in or 6 games in now, so we're probably in the, we are probably where we need to be. It'll be interesting the change between now and the next 5 games. I'm just going to throw something into the mix in my usual happy style, but I think Bobby Cordova-Reid will start on the left.
Oh, okay, on the left. So
Wrexham.
me and Luke have just done our match preview for Wrexham, and we actually got him in the 10. We've got Bobby in the 10.
Yeah, I thought 10.
Because
Kate,
yes, I thought he did really well when he came on.
And Marty really likes him, really likes him.
Well, we know that, Steve, thanks to Kate's question to Radio Leicester. We know that now.
Me.
But no, I think that's a possibility. I mean, all the players as well, like in some of the, and I heard this from somebody else that apparently the players, the squad, like so Bobby's a really popular figure in the squad from what I've heard and also from watching little bits and bobs. They all talk about him and stuff like that. And at this level, I mean, it's been a while since he was at this level for Fulham and stuff, but I think he's going to be more than capable. He's a smart player.
He made the goal.
Yeah.
Everybody else who'd had a volley like that during the game, it went into Rose Ed. And he took it so sweetly. He had the similar amount of time that Mavadidi had against Coventry last week to pick his spot and, time everything. And he did it.
It was slightly travelling towards the corner flag, but it got a deflection, so that helped.
Don't tell Graham that. Don't tell Graham that.
I'm not buying that. There are no such thing as own goals when your striker shoots.
But on Friday, we've spoken about this. One of the biggest problems on Friday and why we didn't tick very well, particularly going forwards, was Ricky P was off.
Yeah, he was.
He was so poor. He lost possession a few times. It's as poor as I've seen him, really. And we all have those moments.
There's none of that link-up play, was there, between Vestergaard, Ricardo, and Winks in that sort of, that seemed like it was disrupted because I think they were pressing a lot higher up.
Yeah. As Mark said here, we're 5th. We're not losing many as well. What is it? How many are we unbeaten now? Is it 5?
Yes.
5 games unbeaten? We've only lost one, haven't we?
Yeah, 5. Yeah. Since the pressing game, it's 5. 3 draws and 2 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not losing is good. That's very good. I just want to go back as well. Yeah. I want to just rewind. Hold your hat here, Graham. Prepare yourself for this. Put your seatbelt on. Something Graham said, which I think is actually. Oh, hold on. Give me a sec. Let me play that.
Dr. Graham.
No, I want to say something Graham said, which was bang on, that I agree with wholeheartedly, and I'll ask you.
Remember the date.
Yeah. 28th September at 10:23. No, Kate. Graham said that scoring the late goals, either for an equaliser or a winner, sends a message. And I think back, Kate, to Ipswich 2 years ago, when every single fucking weekend, I would sit there. I'd be looking at my phone. Oh yeah, they're 1-0 down to Hull. We're all good, whatever. And then a minute later, in the 94th minute, they score a goal, and it's like fucking hell again. They've done it, and they did it all the time. And I feel like that also, as Graham said, Kate, sends a message because I feel like that then creates a bit of anxiety between the defend, the team we're playing. Right, if we play. Let's say Wrexham. Let's say we're 1-1 with Wrexham into the 85th minute next on Tuesday. their fans, their players are thinking, oh, here we go. Because, Leicester have scored late goals and Leicester have come back from whatever many times. It could happen again. I feel like it creates a bit of chaos, a bit of anxiety on their end, on the opposition end as well.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do my heart rate any good either. But yeah, we are very tenacious. And I think, like I've said previously, not just with Ayew, but with the whole team, I think we look fitter than last year. Like the pace seems to be able to be maintained well into injury time across the board.
Thank Kingy for that, Kate.
Yeah, exactly that. That's what I said before. Like, I think Jordan looks super lean and super fit. He's got one gear, Jordan. It's not massively high, but it's not massively low. But he'll stay in that same gear for the whole duration of the match. So, you just don't know with Leicester. We've got that Foxes never quit thing. I know that's really cliche, but we've got that never quit attitude at the moment and just pushing until the whistle. And we did it against a pretty stinking referee on Friday night as well, to be honest, who was just looking for any reason to not allow us to play. So, I'm quite confident that we've found some heart and some fight, because we didn't have any last year. I know it was a low bar, but yeah, you just never know what's going to happen. And if we can freshen it up, even if by bringing someone like Bobby on, you don't want to be playing against Bobby when you're tired, because he's a good footballer. So we'll just have to see what happens on Tuesday night, I think. But yeah, write us off at your peril. And like you say, it does send a message. West Brom will be gutted about that from Friday night. They'll be gutted. They'll be like, how the hell have we come away not taking all the points when it was going so close to the death, and when they had their own moments? I mean, that guy blazing it over from about 3 yards or whatever he was. They'll rue their chances as well, because that's football. So we just need to, I feel like we're going in the right direction. It just needs to be a bit more cohesive going forward. And we've got to test the keepers, because these championship keepers won't be all that. And I know Elm put something on Twitter actually a couple of days ago about Jakob's distribution and not letting go of the flipping ball.
Mm-hmm. Where he almost he was out of his box with the ball at one point. Like, we had Mavididi and Fatu and Ayew, we had the wingers available, and he kept hold of it, and everyone around me was just going, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Well, let me come to Graham.
Sorry, a quick question
you're in the
that
goalkeepers union. Go on, mate. Yeah, go on.
No, I was thinking. Yeah, I get that. I mean, one, you said it makes you feel like Shaky Stevens every time he plays, but I thought he had a good game. I mean, there were those shots you get where he palms it down in front of him. That if there's nobody around, do that. Take your time, palm it down, get the ball out. Casper would have punched that ball straight back to the striker that came through. Now, I get what you're saying about letting go and moving on, but I did see one occasion where they were attacking. He got the ball, he skipped through, he threw it over on and put our players through. So,
but there was one really key moment. I think it was about 80 minutes where I think it was Samare had legged it down the right. Was it Samare? I can't remember who it was. And he literally went to roll it, and it was completely on. It was such a safe pass. And then he dummied his own player and didn't let go of it, and then held on to it for another 15 seconds. I'm like, don't dummy your own players, mate.
No, but you knew it was Samari. He looked up and went, "Oh, for God's sake, that's not gonna fucking work."
I was going to say, you said bomb forward, so I probably wasn't Samari, Kate, to be honest with you.
That's true. That's what he thought. He thought a West Brom player.
You can take your seatbelt off now, Graham, because I'm going to say I don't agree with you on this one. I think Jakob is... Look, I don't think he had a good game. I know he only conceded the one, and that was more on the defenders, but I'm nervous when he... I think my tweet was, I get nervous whenever he has to do something, because by the way, it shows how bad the ref was, because he should have been sent off, Jakob. He came out of his box. He came out of the box with the ball in his hands. He came out. If that was VAR, it's a red, right? So, yeah. He's not a bad goalkeeper. I'm not saying he's a bad goalkeeper. I'm a hell.
Did he play for it at all?
No.
That was one where we had the break, and he had the ball, and he went to roll it and then span around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was out of his box.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
I mean, I don't mind him. I just don't think he's. I don't think he's one of the top 5 goalkeepers in this league, to be honest. I think he's a good championship goalkeeper, but I don't think he's a goalkeeper that you should that looks, that would be in a team a title-winning team in the Championship. I don't think he's that good. And I think there was a lot of copium when Mads left. I know Mads hasn't had a good start at West Ham. I know that, but I think I would have Mads all day long over Jakub Stolarczyk still.
Yeah, and just a damning stat here is that his distribution, his long ball accuracy is like 24%, which is not great for a goalkeeper. You know, his short ball is about 70 odd, which isn't too bad. But you know, to be a goalkeeper in the Premier League, your passing needs to be a lot better than that, and it leads to them getting the ball back and then more pressure on us. So yeah, I agree, Locks. I think he's a decent Championship goalkeeper, but he's not at the level that we need him to be for the Premier League or top tier sort of Championship.
Is that why we're being linked with other goalkeepers? I mean, yeah, I love an underdog. You know, me and Ward. I love an underdog. I love a goalkeeper. It's a position where, yeah, you make one. You know, you can save 5 penalties in a row, but you make one mistake and you're hated. So, I don't get that. I honestly, you know, in my experience of watching goalkeepers, I don't get that unnerved feeling when I watch him, and that's probably just me. As I say, distribution, maybe not getting the ball out, but he takes up a good position. He didn't make any mistakes. So what do you think he did wrong, Box, in the last game?
I think he did make a. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned about parrying the ball. I mean, there was someone, the chance that Kate mentioned, Josh Madger, he parried the ball into Josh Madger, basically into the path of Josh Madger, who luckily missed a sitter, put it over the bar. But that should have been a goal. I think there's a couple of other occasions, and I know it's easy for me to say with my hands, Graham. I've never been a goalkeeper, but I think there's many occasions where he should have caught it, and luckily no one's there. Luckily, a lot of the time no one's there, but.
Do you think, as a counterpoint to that, as a keeper, if there's nobody around or nobody near me and somebody hits the ball and I'm not quite sure how hard it's going or if there any swerve, just to take the pace off it and then pick it up. And he did that twice, I reckon. But if you're not confident with him, you'll see that as like a sign of weakness.
Well, on occasions, this is my point, on occasions there is somebody there. And I think in the Premier League, let's say, I know we're not in the Premier League, but in the Premier League, the follow-ups getting buried. Whereas in the Championship, the quality just isn't as... So we're getting away with it, which is fine, right? But you're right.
So how many games has he played now How many games has he played now as a first-team keeper? That will be the judge for me. If he's done
he's played quite a lot, because I think you're right. When he played at the end of last season in the Premier League, he came in and he did quite well, and I think a lot of fans said, "Oh, he'll be fine next season." But I think I thought that about Ward before the relegation season. I thought Schmeichel's gone, Danny Ward will be all right, and that turned out. But Graham, I'll agree with you, right, on the base that we are in the Championship, right. I'm not saying he has to be a Premier League, but I'm saying if we did get promoted, when we get promoted, whenever it happens, we need to upgrade. We need to upgrade on Jakub. So.
Well, you can see that our management team are not taking it. They've already brought in at least one other keeper, haven't they? And they've brought in an old keeper to teach them. So I don't think it. Maybe they feel the same way as you do.
Yeah,
we need more.
Maybe so. We're linked with James Trafford, Kate, in January. We're linked with James Trafford on loan from Man City, who they just signed for whatever it was, 30 million quid.
Yeah, okay.
We all know Rugton loves a goalkeeper as well.
Is the issue for me, because when you play the football like we do, the style of play, particularly with this OCD we seem to have, as needing to start every move with Yannick Vestergaard, that is starting to drive me a little bit insane. But the style of play is based on moving the opposition to get through. So when Jakub has the ball and could release it quickly, the opposition are moved away from where you want to be. So there is an open flank. Often there's an open flank, and he doesn't utilise it, and it's so frustrating because it's low. The risk is not there. There's only upside really, unless you lob it out of play or you accidentally lob it to another player.
Yeah. Right. The last thing for today, then I want to go around because we're already so close to the next game. Is I want to just get your guys' score predictions for the Wrexham game. I can tell you, Luke went for 1-1. I went for 2-1 Leicester. The Wrexham fan we spoke to said 2-2. So I'll come to you next, Steve. What's your score prediction, mate?
1-0. It'll be a scrappy game, but we'll just nick it 1-0.
Graham, over to you, mate.
I'm with Steve. I think 1-0.
Yeah, I
That
think
was
we'll
going
all
to be
take
my
that.
answer. I'm doing
We
that.
can have a full house. All three
Twitchy
of you, 1-0.
Twitchy Bumhole 1-0 is basically what I think it's going to be.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I can't see
Ryan's
us.
done 1-0.
I
Go on,
can't
Graham.
see us letting many goals in. You know, despite the keeper's shite and the defenders are shite, I can't see us letting many goals in because we haven't.
No, we're quite robust. We're quite robust. I just
Yeah.
don't want. We don't want any clown emojis on Tuesday night, Graham. That is the problem. Why didn't Gary's got lost on me?
I got one the other day, and then Graham apologised. So that was, I was like, bloody hell! It was a double.
Mate, that's so Graham. He does it, and then he realizes it's you, and he goes, "Oh, sorry."
No, we were on a different point. I thought he was talking about something else. So yeah, I'll always
Okay.
admit when I'm wrong. So
yeah.
But
You
talking
just
about
never
being
wrong.
wrong, quick question for you. Everybody's moaned about having no VAR this season, but the refs are shite, and we're stuck without no VAR.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah. Until we get, I'm okay with it for now. Until we get a goal disallowed that it shouldn't be disallowed, then that's when I'll. Yeah, but no, you're right. The referees have. I think we've had one good ref. I think in the 7 games or something like that, which is crazy. Ryan says 1-0 Leicester. Scott 0-0. Frankie 3-0. So Danke said the same there 3-0. Mark going 5-0. A great night under the floodlights. Can't wait. Azola 3-2. Mark, don't go blaming the manager, please. If it's a 1-1 or something, 5-0's crazy, I think. But yeah, Neil says Jakob would have gone with VAR. That's true as well. Yeah, like I said, yeah, he would have gone with VAR. We were lucky on that occasion that the ref was shit. So, right, we're gonna end it there. That's it for me now. So I'm done now for 2 weeks. So I'll be back in 2 weeks. It'll be Luke, Anil and Doc on Tuesday night for the watch along. Same as next Saturday as well for Swansea. Next Sunday will be fun. Graham will finally do a show with Luke, so that's going to be entertaining.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, yeah, that's true. That's very true.
You should also be playing "We're All Going on a Summer Holiday" as one of your little tunes at this moment in time.
It's in my head. It's going around in my head.
If you come back with a full beard, Locks, we know what you've gone for.
You know what? That's the only thing I would get done. I would get a beard transplant, but no.
Stop it.
I'm going to spend the money.
Plenty of time for that.
And really, really white teeth.
Yeah, that's true
That
as
looking
well.
like Danny
Yeah.
Drinkwater.
Yeah. I'm just about all right for now. I'm not losing it just yet, so I'll be fine for the hair. So yeah. Okay, we're going to end it there. Thanks to Kate, thanks to Steve, and thanks to Graham. We will have the match preview out at 3:00. It's coming out, the Leicester Wrexham match preview with Fearless in Devotion, the Wrexham podcast. Wrexham? Yeah, American. Wrexham podcast, so that'll be out at 3 p.m. And then, like I said, we'll be back for the watch along on Tuesday night. Cheers all. Thank you, guys. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe. And big shout out to our sponsors, Match Bingo, who have given out 200 grand. It's got to be more than that. I'll have to get an updated figure. Maybe 250 grand. It's got to be, yeah, it's been a while. So cheers all. Enjoy your Sundays. Bye-bye. Massive thank you to today's sponsor, Match Bingo. Over 200 grand has been paid out to players so far by taking sports betting, football and bingo and combining them into one amazing app. Make sure to get your bingo card for any Leicester City game in the upcoming season. Click that link in the description or via the QR code on screen.